Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Today is October 12th, 2022. Hope everybody is doing well. Do you know that today is episode 217 of Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat briefing? Hope everybody is doing well. Like I said, I am your fill-in host, Eric Taylor with Barricade Cyber Solutions. And over the next 45 minutes, I will be delivering the top cybersecurity news of the day and providing my debated expert analysis on each of these stories. Definitely not to the level of Dr. Gerald Auger, but I am very honored to be filling in and doing the best that I can to be able to fill in for him today. So, what this means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry, we will be, giving that analysis so that way you could go in there and crush it at your day job or night job if you're a nighttime SOC analyst, right? Um, Shout out and thanks to today's stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Look, I'm not going to read it for myself. I'm just going to tell you, if you have questions or you think you've been compromised, give us a call. Literally go to barricadecyber.com. My calendar is right there. Even if you want to have a conversation, say, hey, what do I do in this? There's been several people in the Simply Cyber community that has reached out and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I do my best to try to give you what's going on. It's not always we don't always charge you to have a conversation. We have people who are in the industry that will reach out and say, hey, have you seen this type of threat? Have you seen this type of information? So we're very open, right? So feel free to reach out. You can always, again, check us out at barricadecyber.com. Also thank the co-sponsor of Recon InfoSec. If your organization is large enough to have real cybersecurity concerns, but not maybe, but sorry, I am not awake today, but maybe not quite large enough to build a full-fledged security operations capability from the ground out, check out the Managed Detection and Response, aka MDR, offering from Recon InfoSec. I swear tomorrow will be better. Their offerings include the people, processes, and technology needed to deliver full spectrum security operations to organizations of any size. So what that basically means, if you are concerned about your existing security, you don't know if your detections are good enough or up to snuff, definitely check out Recon InfoSec. That's the layman's term. So if you, God forbid, are running reboot in your organization, please get rid of that and call Recon InfoSec and talk to them about their MDR platform, because I'll tell you, there's a lot of platforms out there that just do not hold the muster, right? So definitely give them a call, see if they are a good fit for your organization. I want to remind you that if you hold professional certifications that require CPE, like this guy, each episode of the daily cyber threat brief is worth half a CPE, so 2.5 every week and roughly 10 a month. Be sure to document literally the easiest, yes, and I would agree, the most enjoyable way to earn CPEs. Most of the time I am here on Team Live, but here in the past month or so, I have had to be hashtag Team Replay, but still very worth the content. So, sorry, I'm very, very distracted this morning. But I do know that I've taken a peek at today's information, and there is one that I'm going to get spicy on. It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be like, oh, cry me a river. But anyway, hope everybody is doing well. If we don't have a timer, so we won't get right to that. But please do me a favor while you're here. I don't have this pushed in mind, but there are people who that are co-streaming this. We have Jack Scott with Outpost Gray, I believe. Jason Macon, aka Bacon, is streaming it to him. I think ThreatGen is also. So whatever platform that you are watching this on, please share this content, right? There's a lot of people that are out there that don't know where to get, good, adequate content. And while I am a subpar person to Dr. Gerald Auger, um, this is still very, very good content that you should be able to push out because there's a lot of trash out there. And Carrie, yes, I am drinking coffee. I am not one pot in like I normally am by now, but I am drinking coffee, trying to rapidly catch up. It's been I had some personal stuff going on with the family. I will not get into that because of, the whole OSINT thing, but it's kind of got me off my game a little bit over the past week. So it's been problematic to say the least. But enough of that. So I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, and we are going to get started in about 2 minutes. I planned on actually having some music. You know what? Let me fire up some music that I like. I know Jerry does some different music. Make sure we find something that's actually somewhat PG. No, that is definitely not a PG rated song. I'm a huge fan of nerdcore, so see if I can. Geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA. I'll get it prepped up for tomorrow. But we'll jam out to some music. We'll jam out to some nerdcore. I'll definitely find some Disney Room appropriate, if you will, of things that are PG, that do not have a lot of cursing and stuff like that, just so I don't offend people. But anyway, with that said, let me get everything fired up. Let me go and get this thing. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't forget to mention. Today is International Day Wednesday. So let's see. Is everybody representing internationally? Please drop in the comments what country or continent you are from. Let's see if we are able to, do that International Wednesday check off. Are we being checked in around the world? So, we do have Texas, Dr. Gerald Auger in the house. What's going on, buddy? Worldwide Wednesday. That's right. That's right. I'm surprised I almost forgot that. Got a note here to me here. I'll be working on the Mimi today. Oh, the haircut fish. Just hit me up on Discord, BCS Eric Taylor, I think it is, whatever. So, yeah, just hit me up on that, and we'll do the meme of the day, or the meme of the week, if you will. So we got the UK. I see. We got several people in the United States. I think Dr. Jared said that we have UER, which is Europe, the Caribbean in the house. We got Canada. Very nice. Very nice. All right. With that, please let everybody, if you are international, please drop in where you are. And so that way we can knock out Worldwide Wednesday. Worldwide Wednesday is what we are doing today. So with that, let me get everything set up, and we will get the show started because we are 11 minutes into this. And for some reason, the layout did not work. Hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Series, it's cybersecurity headline. And of course, it's not pumping to my speaker for some goofy reason. It worked fine 10 minutes ago. It's not a it's not a Simply Cyber podcast without an audio issue here and there, right?
It's Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. UK spy chief warns of Chinese global security threat. On Tuesday, Jeremy Fleming, the director of Britain's government communications headquarters, gave a rare speech in London stating that Beijing aims to use an array of existing and emerging technologies that could threaten global security and freedom. Fleming noted Chinese potential to use tech such as digital currency and satellites to control markets and also to extend surveillance and censorship worldwide. Fleming said, quote, "Without the collective action of like-minded allies, the divergent values of the Chinese state will be exported through technology." end quote.
All right, we may get spicy on a couple of episodes. All right, look, how do I want to best put this without getting into a lot of trouble? There is different mindsets, I would say globally, not just in the United States, but definitely globally, where you have one mindset of people that want to have government oversight and reach and be able to control everything and oversee everything. And you have other ones like, no, leave us the F alone. We can handle some of our stuff. And that's kind of where I think cryptocurrency really came in, because it was a neat concept. It was a way to, exchange money pretty quickly, if you will, especially if you're doing international sales. Um, you don't have to wait for your bank to do your next wire transfer that may be scheduled, two or three times a day. Some cryptocurrencies are faster to transact than others. Bitcoin definitely could take up to 10 cycles for it to be confirmed, which is up to an hour, depending on the blockchain updates, things of that nature. So it's not the most fastest thing in the world, but it could be definitely faster than a wire transfer, right? Um, so people trying to the part that really, really strikes me is to control markets, people, and extend surveillance. That just, maybe my tinfoil hat is on a little too tight for this one, but this just seems to me like this is just way too far of an overreach, right? So, uh, I don't know. I'm of a mindset, they're there, the federal government's there to serve a purpose, and watching my every step that I take is definitely not one of them. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on the various topic of the day of, should the government control this or that. But anyway, I'm seeing that I'm buffering. Is that right? Are y'all seeing me as buffering? Let me know. Let me know. With that, I will head on to the next story. But yeah, it is the UK. We do see a lot of this stuff that's happening in the United States, where the Fed is trying to do more and more oversight of the cryptocurrency. Thanks everybody for saying no buffering. Appreciate it. Solid stream. Awesome. Thank you. So it's definitely something that you want to watch, right? What is our government, or what is your government, since we are focused on Worldwide Wednesday, what is your government doing in this type of thing, right? Are they extending them too far into your financial and your surveillance that you may or may not feel comfortable with? And how do you mitigate that? It's going to be a good question. Here in the United States, every state is going to be a little bit different on what you can be able to do and what you can't do, right? Joshua Papa, yeah, check out Fed now. Exactly. Right. So it's definitely something. I know that the show is not around, but or the series of what's on your radar, but this is definitely something you should keep on your radar. Definitely um keep an eye on of what's going on, right? So
Toyota data leak impacts 300,000 customers. Toyota has warned that nearly 300,000 customers may have had their personal data exposed on GitHub for almost 5 years. Toyota said that email addresses and customer control numbers were exposed for anyone who has used their T-Connect vehicle network service since July 2017. The leak was caused by a website development contractor who mistakenly uploaded part of T-Connect's source code to GitHub. Toyota indicated that they have found no evidence of the data being accessed by a third party and has also confirmed that names, telephone numbers, and credit cards were not exposed.
all right. I scratched what I said earlier. It's going to be a spicy day, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, literally, really goes back to why are people not setting up certain controls? I see seen a comment in there. I forget who said it. They wish GDPR would be a global thing. I don't know if I haven't followed the GDPR very closely, but that is definitely, I coined that to what the U.S. does with HIPAA. It's a federal program with zero effing teeth. You know, I've been through cases as DFIR where you've investigated, you have found a breach, you have seen data being exfiltrated, and the clinic will put in an amendum or put in a continuance against the federal regulation and extend it so long, or at least over a year, that they just drop it and they forget it and they never pay a freaking fine. And they just continue doing what they want to do. Some of the simplest things, right? If you're ever in a hot tub, we'll get back to this in a moment. I told you I'm riddled with ADHD today. I can't focus. Um, the simple things that you will see, and I've gone on massive tangents on this. Your nurse or whatever leaves your room if you're in the ICU or you're in a medical room or whatever. That nurse leaves that workstation. Most of them don't auto lock. Most of them, just walk away for 10 or 20 minutes, and you're in a room. You can easily be like, "Oh, what's John Smith doing in the hospital today?" Or "What's John Smith's complete records?" I will say that you know somebody I may know has seen if I could copy data to a USB drive before, Um, um, Eric, could you please suggest some simple shit we could fix? Curious. Wayne, I don't know what simple shit you're asking about, but, one thing Wayne, we're going to get really off topic. I'm sorry, BJ Sec, this may go over 45 minutes, um, but asset management is the first thing you should do. I can't tell you how many DFIR cases I come into and they don't have a single thing understood. They have assets all over their infrastructure they had no idea about. I literally worked one last week, said that they only had 100 devices. They had 372, and that was coming from the CTO. He was flabbergasted. He's like, I didn't realize we had that much. I'm like, you're the CTO for 3 years and you don't know how many assets you have? And I'm not talking about IoT, and I'm not talking about OT. I'm talking about IT. Your accounting, your HR, your IT guys, all the people that are in the plant, know your assets. I can't tell you how many times, right? So now back to the topic of the hand here. So literally 5 years that you are leaking your data out on GitHub is not a good thing at all, right? I mean, you got to start, this kind of goes into your assets, knowing what your assets are. If you have developers working on GitHub, you should know it. Here's one thing you should do. Look at your web traffic in your firewall or your DNS server. What external queries are being run. Do a search. A lot of these things you could be able to dump and put into a CSV or a text file and grep it. Say, hey, does anybody has in the past 30, 60, 90 days, 180 days, whatever your buffer is, has anybody gone to GitHub? Has anybody gone to Dropbox? If that's not allowed, has any gone to anydesk.com, which is known by threat actors to be very open and very free for them to use for eternity, right? There's some other stuff that you can easily start looking at. But know your assets, right? Um, when I do my pen testing, one of the first things I'm always looking at is GitHub. When I scrub their LinkedIn stuff, I look at, all their people and I try to see, do they have a GitHub repo somewhere? A lot of times when you go through the chronological order of their commits in GitHub, you can find SSH keys hard coded in things that they think that goes away just because you submitted a new commit. Oh, that's 5 commits ago. No, it's actually pretty easy to pull down all of them, right? Yeah, Dr. J, I'm sorry. It's going to go be I need more meds. Joseph is normally in the chat, deals with this a lot. Anyway, we'll carry on.
CISOs at risk of being overworked.
Oh, spicy time!
New research from Tessian reveals that 18% of UK and US security leaders work over 25 hours extra per week. On average, security leaders are working 16.5 extra hours each week, up from 11 hours in 2021. Additionally, three-quarters of security leaders say they aren't able to always switch off from work, while 16% say they can rarely or never switch off. Size of the organization is a key factor, as leaders in orgs with 1,000 plus employees are working an average of 7 hours more per week than those working at companies with fewer than 100 employees.
Oh, cry me a river. Seriously. Don't get me wrong. I love CISOs. They're awesome. What they do is, they are the project manager. They are the advocator for the organization to get things done that we want to get done. So I love their role. I love the people who step up to the plate, go to school and get that CISSP title. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right? But now CISOs are dealing with what SOC analysts, NOC people, not your NOC engineers, DFI are people, reverse threat hunters who are on call all the time. I can't tell you, well, I mean, except for the last week or so with personal issues, the last time I've worked under 80 hours a week. We do this because we love it. That's why we're in this field. We don't reverse, I don't do DFIR, for any other reason because I love doing it. Granted, we're here to make a paycheck too, but still, come on. CISOs are now starting to get a taste of what some of their folks that they are controlling have to deal with, and they're complaining. Cry me a river. Sorry, not sorry type thing, but whatever. That was the one that I planned on getting really spicy on, but we've gone many, many so far.
Android leaks traffic even when always-on VPN is enabled.
Awesome.
Molvad VPN has discovered that Android leaks some traffic every time the device connects to a Wi-Fi network, even with always-on VPN features enabled. Data being leaked outside VPN tunnels includes source IP addresses, DNS lookups, HTTPS traffic, and also likely NTP traffic. The issue stems from a design choice in the Android operating system to allow special use cases, such as identifying captive portals, that must be checked before a user can log in or use split tunnel features. Android users are likely unaware of the issue due to Android's inaccurate documentation related to VPN lockdown features. Molvad has contacted Google requesting them to add an option to disable connectivity checks.
What the F? All right. It's just going to be a spicy day. I'll make sure I do my best not to say an actual curse word. Anytime anybody who works in network engineering or works in these things, when your device connects to a new network, it's got to establish certain protocols. It's got to say, okay, what's my IP address? What's my DNS servers? I got to broker a connection to my outside world. Yeah, there's going to be some traffic, at least the first 10, 20, 30 packets that are not encrypted by your VPN because it's brokering those freaking connections. It's doing the handshakes. Come the F on. Uh, I, I, you, know, you can't go and be 100% secure and VPN all the time, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't, right? Even if you're okay, let's just say you're staying on your cellular tower, right? And you're traveling between tower and tower. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's going to do the same thing. As your cell phone leaves one tower and is brokering connection with your second tower, your new tower, there's going to be some traffic that's unencrypted. It doesn't matter whether it's your laptop, if it's your phone, if it's your tablet, or whatever the case is. There's going to be things in there that's going to be unencrypted. You got to know these things. And thinking a piece of technology is going to fix that? There's no magic pill, ladies and gentlemen. There's no magic pill.
And now we'd like to thank this week's episode sponsor, No Name Security. Stop API vulnerabilities before production with No Name Security. Automatically run over 100 dynamic tests that simulate malicious traffic, including the OWASP API Top 10. Integrate with your existing CI/CD pipelines and tools such as Jenkins and Postman, as well as your ticketing and workflow tools such as ServiceNow, Slack, and Jira. Learn more at nonamesecurity.com/active-testing. All Windows versions can now block admin brute force attacks. Microsoft announced Tuesday that IT admins can now configure any Windows system still receiving security updates to automatically block brute force attacks targeting local administrator accounts. David Weston, Microsoft's VP for Enterprise and OS Security, says that the control will help protect systems from RDP and other brute force password vectors, which are commonly leveraged in ransomware attacks, among others. Admins can enable this additional defense via the Allow Administrator Account Lockout policy. This policy will be enabled by default on all new machines running Windows 11 22H2.
Okay. All right. Great for Microsoft for putting this together. If you are, this just goes back to where people are not reviewing their logs again to me. But this does help eliminate some potential logs. One thing that I definitely we'll have to dig into, and this will be on my radar, as well, is, standing up a mock domain. Okay, so it does say it here. I didn't hear it. Including administrator accounts for 10 minutes. This is actually in domains already, because we have this set up. I mean, you have to enable it. It's not on by default for group policy objects inside of yours. Inside of your organization, so you definitely have to enable that feature set, but it is there, right? So I do wonder, with Windows 11, with a lot of the security features that they are putting in, you do have to do a fresh system installation of that. Give me a second, I need to close my door. So to get the security features, you can't do an in-place Windows 10 to Windows 11 upgrade. You've got to wipe your complete OS, delete all of your partitions, and put a fresh OS of Windows 11 on there, which is something I plan on doing in the next couple of weeks, just because I really want to play with some of the new security features that are only allowed in Windows 11 because you did that. So definitely know your stuff when you're trying to go to Windows 11. If you want to have all the security features, it requires a fresh OS installation. So yeah, I mean, cool that they're doing that. 10 failed logins. Yeah, I personally would like to see if I can switch that over to 5. That'd be awesome. So yeah, at least they're doing something. Cool. They do have it after 10 minutes here. Cool. And account log. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, this is like, again, GPO, group policy editor, or and the domain GPO, group policy object, and it's been there forever. It's just now that they're actually making it on by default. Yeah. With the world of ransomware and ransomware deployment protocols, RDP, why this isn't put out there more proactively is completely beyond me, but whatever.
Info sent through Microsoft Teams. New research from Hornet Security reveals that nearly half of users send confidential and critical information via Microsoft Teams. 51% of respondents say they often send business-critical documents and data, while 48% admitted to sending messages on Teams they should not have. The research highlights the often overlooked need for backup and security controls on the messaging platform. Hornet Security CEO Daniel Hoffman said, quote, Microsoft does not provide robust protection of data shared via Teams. So beyond cybersecurity vulnerabilities, organizations must ensure information and files shared across the platform are backed up in a secure, responsible way, end quote.
That's interesting. So, and this is, Jesus, I'm going to have something else I got to dig into. So we have, especially in our organization, a thing called DLP, data loss prevention. So, it's really hard to get to copy and paste items out of Teams into your other platforms. So, like, even on a mobile device, I can't copy something out of an email and try to post it into Teams, even though it's the same ecosystem. It'll literally tell you your organization doesn't allow the copy and pasting of this information. Like, even I've got it locked down so much. Like, if I take an image or an image, I sound like a freaking boomer. I'm not gonna live that one down now. If I take a picture off of my camera, and I try to upload it into Teams, it doesn't allow it. Right. So yeah, we've got Teams locked down pretty good. We do have backup solutions that back up Teams and our OneDrive infrastructure pretty regularly. So it's definitely interesting to see what exactly they're saying is not as secure as they would like it. I mean, granted, you don't want to send to another Teams account, that's outside of your organization sensitive documents, right? I mean, and that's where I think a lot of DLP, data loss prevention, would actually go into help protecting a lot of that information, making sure documents that have social security numbers, routing numbers, things of that nature are not allowed to leave your organization, right? So, and Brandon, I actually hate Teams. Yeah, I kind of do too, but it does have some really good DLP features in it. So at least I'm able to control what is going in and out of Teams a lot more than I could in a Slack or Discord server. No offense to Discord. I know everybody here on Simply Cyber uses the Discord stuff, but from an organizational standpoint, I can't control DLP and things like that. So yeah, definitely keep check out the Hornet Security link there, see what he's going on about, or those folks are going on about. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't have DLP and they're just able to send and receive, any sort of files all willy nilly. It's what I suspect it may be, because it's not something on by default. So.
And now it's time for You Should Probably Patch That, Patch Tuesday edition.
Joseph's going to hate
Yesterday
this.
was Microsoft's October 2022 Patch Tuesday, which featured fixes for an actively exploited Windows 0-day vuln and a total of 84 flaws. 13 of the 84 vulnerabilities are classified as critical as they allow privilege escalation, spoofing, or remote code execution. The actively exploited zero-day bug allows for privilege elevation as a result of flaws in the Microsoft Com Plus event system service. Unfortunately, Microsoft has not yet released security updates for two actively exploited Exchange vulnerabilities dubbed Proxy Not Shell, which were spotted in late September by the Vietnamese security firm GTSC.
All right, so y'all remember just a little bit ago this story? This is why, what we just heard is why security analysts, malware analysts, your DFIR teams, your MSSP, they work about 80 hours a week. It's because they got to go through and patch these things. They got to make sure this stuff is done. And let me educate you a little bit that, cats like Joseph in chat who works for me could attest to you. Just because there's a patch that's been released, there are so many times that requires prerequisites to make sure that there's other patches showing up just for that patch to show in that one. We're going through and dealing with a couple of them right now where, some security rollups require other patches to be installed, the prerequisites, but those prerequisites are not even showing up, right? So like one KB article needs, I think it was like 4 or 5 different prerequisites. So we're trying to figure out, so we're actually having to build out a PowerShell script for these clients to say, okay, is KB blah 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 installed? No, install. Next, is KBB blah blah installed? No, install it. And then hopefully once we go through and make sure that those prerequisite KBs are installed, that should have already been by now, that they are going in, and now that hopefully that new patch that we're trying to get pushed out will show up as an available patch to come in. A lot of IT folks, and I'm not trying to slam internal IT by any means, but they will go in and they'll say, or they'll look, just check up, bring up Windows Update. Oh, there's nothing here. All is patched. All is well. Having something to, we use, CrowdStrike internally and for all of our clients. So we get those CVE reports. So we get that heuristic. So if you don't use, a CrowdStrike, you got to use something that actually goes in and dives in to see what CVEs are actually applicable to your organization's devices, right? So I know a lot of folks are using SMMC, I believe it is, or SCCM, Control System Manager, yeah, SCCM, to help do their patching. And I think a lot of that could do it. I'm not sure of a whole lot of other platforms that will do it to the level that we use some of the software we do. That's kind of why we picked it. But we may actually finish up close to on time, so BSEC won't be mad at me.
Phones are pocket dialing 911 from roller coasters. Apple's iPhone 14, as well as newer Apple Watches, include a feature that detects the signs and vibrations of a serious car accident and automatically dial 911 if the owner does not respond to a prompt to cancel. The new devices are mistaking the bumps and jerks of roller coaster rides as car wrecks. Since the new model went on sale in September, the Warren County 911 Center in Ohio has received at least 6 calls from people on rides at Kings Island Amusement Park, which features a 91-mile-per-hour thrill ride called Orion. Other alerts were triggered by the 12-story Joker roller coaster at Six Flags Great America near Chicago, Illinois.
91 miles an hour? I need to make a trip. That sounds like fun. That is crazy. Wow, 91 miles. Ooh, could you imagine that? Mm. I'm not sure if I really want to do the 300-foot plunge, if you will. Maybe, but that's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, I mean, these are things that technology is being brought in to help make our lives more safe and secure, right? And when I've seen a lot of these new features being released by Apple, and Android has some of those new features as well, they're pushing out, that it's very, very cool, right? So you don't have to rely on, OnStar to help you, or any of those other competitive services to OnStar to notify police and stuff like that in the event of a crash. Now T-Mobile is partnering up with Elon Musk's Starlink, so that way it can piggyback off of the Starlink networks if it's in that area. So if you're in a remote area without cell service, you can at least get 911. So a lot of cool things are being introduced that's trying to help keep us safe. So hats off to them for at least making that effort, right? So this may be where technology has to get a little bit more invasive yet again. When you go back here to, the government's trying to look into more of your information and things of that nature. This may be one of those kind of issues where Apple and Android, Google, will have to constantly do a GPS ping of where you are. If you are in a known high density area that is known for having amusement parks or your state parks or whatever, that there may be a longer delay. So it's kind of more invasive, right? Where, they're constantly tracking where your location is. So granted, Apple's doing that to a fair amount, but, more algorithm is being done on the device, right? So, yeah, to comment, hey, how can we connect with you? Most of my stuff is ransomware on LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter, I believe. So either look for Barricade or look for ransomware. Best way on the social medias, or just go to our website, barricadecyber.com is the best way to get in touch with us. Yep, so there's a link right there. And with that, I believe that is the last of those stories.
And that does it for today's cybersecurity headlines. But if you missed last week's live stream,
Hey, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. And it is 43 minutes after we got it, and I don't have to get yelled at B-second. I went on complete tyrants and complete ADHD moments. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? And with that, I want to thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much. Did we complete Worldwide Wednesday? Did we complete it? Let me know. Let me know. I am very, very curious. While we're doing that, I will play some Nerdcore real quick. Let's see.
Of Super Cyber Friday.
Oh, be quiet. Wrong thing. My apologies.
You can still get...
Be quiet. Thanks everybody for letting me be here. Hopefully I was able to stand up to somewhat of Jerry's normal streams. That's right. That's right. So I looking through the chat. I don't think what continent are we missing for Worldwide Wednesday? Maybe somebody needs to change their VPN location real quick. Hack all the things. All right. So enough goofing around. I do want to be respectful. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody for the warm welcome, and thanks for being here. I will be here again for the next 2 days. I will be here on Thursday and Friday. All of them will be at 8 a.m. So please update your calendars if you try to watch this thing as Team Live. And with that, I will take y'all folks take care. Go out there, crush your world, stop those threat actors from coming into your network. And if you have any questions, check out our show sponsors. Not to toot our own horn, but we're pretty good. I know the owner of Recon InfoSec, Eric over there, Sands. Everybody who watches me knows I'm very heavily into Sands. So, there's going to be some great folks over there as well. So, find those people that you can be able to help protect your business and crush it and sleep better at night. Let us worry about the 8 hours a week, right? Take care, everybody.